Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And the season is over. We've had European finals, Europa League final. You saw us talk on that. Conference League final. Chelsea won. Jadon Sancho scored, but his wage demands are still too high. So it's looking like he's getting back to Man United. Maybe we'll talk on that. The Champions League final, of course, one of the most one-sided Champions League finals I've ever seen. PSG winning 5-0. So shout out to them. Congrats to Enrique. Congrats to PSG for winning their first one. Chelsea qualified for Champions League on the last day. They managed to win at Forest. They've actually ended the season pretty well. Champions League and
a trophy.
Yeah.
But I actually don't like the Conference League, man.
Yeah.
Like it should be maybe here and allowed and whatever. But I don't know. Like Tottenham fans running the European trophy gimmick, I can handle that. That's Europa League, is somewhat verified.
Yeah.
But Chelsea fans to start saying European champions and we won a European trophy.
Completed the set.
I don't know. There should be something, but I don't know if it should come with the title European champions. You're the champions of.
Yeah. I mean, West Ham fans sing it everywhere they go.
But that's my point. That's my point. If you're the top team in Slovenia or the top team in Slovakia, and even if you win your league, all you can do is compete in the Conference League.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell yourselves, all right, I'm the champions of the Balkans. I'm the champions of, whatever it is.
Because ultimately, big clubs don't compete in the Conference League.
So maybe there should be something else. We are, I don't know what, the understudy champs of whatever it is. The third-rate competition, but it feels a bit much. And that's me with my hating hat on.
Just throw an extra team in the Europa League. Look, some clubs are making movements in the transfer window. Me and Michael have just spoken off air about what's going on. Man United are moving. They moved for Cunha. They're moving for Mbuemo. Chelsea have signed Delap. Liverpool are moving for Wirtz. They've signed Frimpong. And Arsenal are progressing with talks. And they are...
Interest FC.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
Framework.
Groundwork.
Aroused, was it?
Yeah. Alerted. Arsenal have been alerted to the situation. So all of that stuff's going on with Arsenal. More Leroy Sané rumours today. Just, I can't get behind any of it until we see some concrete evidence. But today we're going to talk about Arsenal and the season, and we're going to give every Arsenal player that played this season, played like at least a semi-decent amount. We don't need to grade guys like Tommy Setford and these
Tomiyasu.
Right? Well, Tomiyasu's actually on it because we need a conversation about what Tomiyasu's done.
There's nothing to be said about Tomiyasu.
There are things to be said.
There's nothing to be said about Tomiyasu.
Keep or sell. But look, that's just an example of things to be said.
I don't think we can sell.
Well, we might need to raise money.
He's in the keep category entirely because he can't run. He's come out of surgery. He won't be able to pass a medical anywhere else.
The Jesus spot.
He has to be kept.
Yeah. But yeah, look, we're gonna rate them from 1 to 10. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. This is probably gonna be our last episode for a couple of weeks. Obviously season over. Like we said, unless Arsenal start getting their shit together and start moving in the transfer window the way they should. You probably won't see us until match week 1 next season.
And depending on the transfers.
I already know I'm going to be in Toronto at the start of the season, so we might be waiting a bit longer, But yeah, look, we thank you guys for supporting
100%
all year round.
Love to the followers that followed us.
Yeah, for sure.
All the way through this journey.
We've said that before. You guys might be bored of hearing it, but yeah, we appreciate it.
100.
YouTube, Spotify, no matter where you listen to it, we appreciate all the support and everything. And
hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, there've been some ups and downs this season. Like some of the Madrid pods did well.
Good. I missed the Ten Hag shitting on Ten Hag pods.
Yeah. The Ten Hag stuff was
Those were
good
days.
But Amrin made it better.
Yeah.
No?
No, he has, but I don't know, like...
Yeah, it was just good with it because Ten Hag would come out in his interviews. He wouldn't really communicate well, and
So I'm still operating on the fact that Ten Hag pretends not to know English. I'm sure he speaks very, very, very good
I saw,
English.
I think it was Liban. Liban was like, Ten Hag uses as a comma. And he said, as a comma. That's Ten Hag's
Every
grammar.
Dutch person knows good English.
Yeah. Slop.
tell me, tell me a Dutch manager that's come and not been able to effectively communicate. The worst one was Van Halen. Everybody still understood Van Halen.
Yeah. Well, Frank de Boer.
It wasn't his communication.
I was never going to work in Palace.
it was
the Dutch guy.
It wasn't the fact that he it wasn't his English though.
But yeah, look, thank you guys for the support and stuff. And we're gonna go through this and rate the Arsenal players from 1 to 10. So firstly, shout out to Nick for the idea. He messaged me yesterday, and that was actually a reason for us to do a pod now. Because I thought it might be good, just a way to round off the season and potentially put some expectations on players for next season.
Yeah.
And talk about what they've done this year. So we're gonna rank them between 1 and 10. And we're going to try and agree on a rating, just because that'll probably make it more watchable for the viewers.
Yeah,
if we have to come to the same conclusion. And I don't want to put too many parameters on it, but just one to like, so guys know what we're doing. I think we'll give them a 6. Yeah. If they did what was expected of them, they achieved the expected level of performance, right? That's a 6, yeah. So if they didn't reach that, then they'll obviously get one below, and if they went above, and then we can discuss how far beyond or below they went, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say 5, because 5, like, if we were Man United, then we could say 5.
Bare 5s,
yeah. 6, we should be above that, right? So first off, David Raya,
10,
yeah.
All right, maybe a 9. But
I was gonna go 9. The only reason I was gonna go 9 is because the penalty shootout against Man United still bugs me.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
The way he's moving across like 5 yards.
I was gonna say the only reason I was gonna give him a 10 was because when I think of Raya this season, I think of like there's way more times he saved us than I thought. 100%. Like, we lost, or we've conceded that goal.
Even
that game.
The last home game against Newcastle.
yeah. There's way more times that I'm like, I can't believe David Raya has got to that, or how has he managed to keep that one out?
There was a double save from the penalty against Atalanta.
Even you were saying it, I was opposite, but even the one in PSG, that wasn't a pen. Or was it PSG?
Yeah. He saved the pen.
Oh yeah. And I actually kind of wanted it for propaganda reasons, but you know, there's been like 3. When's the last time we've had a goalkeeper? There's been like 3 notable penalty saves from David Raya this season.
Yeah, the Atalanta, PSG, and I think there was one.
There was another one.
There was Watkins one.
Yeah.
A big one.
But like we could have gone 10 years maybe. Chesney, the double save at it's like the last time I can remember. I needed that one to to stay out. Every other penalty Arsenal have conceded has gone into the back of the net, and it's not even just that. Like, the good thing about Raya, what I like about Raya this season, is I felt like the first season he came, guys were like, oh yeah, he's good at the feet. Yeah, he's good at claiming crosses. But there was the whole Ramsdale's a better shot stopper. We're still a better shot stopper. I feel like that's just dead and buried now. I don't know if there's a smidge. But if anybody has watched Ramsdale this season at Southampton, I don't think we'd be asking questions about how good the shot stopper he is.
No, there's no doubt who's a better shot stopper.
So that's what I like. I like that Raya's come in. He's put the shot stopping stuff to bed. This is a keeper that can save stuff, as well as everything that he does on the ball. Some of my favorite passes this season have come from David Raya. Some of the ones I don't know.
That tells us the state of football.
Yeah. Football's too woke. Football's too hippie. All of this kind of stuff. All of that included. But there's sometimes.
No, for sure.
I can't believe he's just fizzed that one out. Floated that to the extra man.
Yeah. The way Raya finds a spare man is so.
There's something he's finding Lewis Skelly in midfield. Like Madrid are pressing him. He's just found Lewis Skelly in midfield, standing next to Partey.
even some of his long passes that sometimes send some of our players away. But I think the big thing with Raya is that he has just got better from last year.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He was very good last year.
Yeah.
He won the Golden Glove again this year, but I think without all of the Ramsdale pressure, which he obviously had all season last year and whatever, he's just come in and he's just gone up a level. And if we were doing a team of the season, I think he'd be my goalkeeper.
Yeah. The only caveat, small thing I have against Raya is he sometimes does look small in the goal.
Yeah.
Like he isn't actually the biggest guy in the world. But I don't. It's not that affects his game, but it's just something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a trade-off, isn't it? Because then you get that extra agility from him.
Yeah. Hey,
The
pace.
whatever.
We saw it at West Ham.
Yeah.
Live and direct in the flesh. I'm just gonna chase
Never
for
gonna
pasta.
recover from that. Yeah. Look, so 9. 9. Okay. Neto. Now I said we were gonna, but Neto, I need to give him his rating because we saw him for one game.
I was gonna say 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think that's high. I think that's high. One game against Girona, and he tried it. He always should have been sent off. That shot from Danjuma, Neto's outside the box, and he tries to save it with his hands. If he touches the ball with his hands, he gets sent off.
Bro, I was telling you,
a long day.
Arsenal do these things where they'll ask players questions as they're coming in. They ask Neto. I was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Remember Arteta's coaching stuff?
You getting your assistant manager? What's going on?
Stuyvenberg.
They start interviewing the kit man.
Stuyvenberg had a hair transplant.
Yeah, Neto.
But he's getting a 1 from me because how can that be your only performance and you're that bad? Should have been sent off.
And you know what's funny about Neto is that he was a Premier League keeper last year. Like he did play several amount of games in the Premier League. So for him to look that, I think what it is, it's the Raya effect, bro. I think guys come in and they see who's the number one and they start to think, oh, well, number one has to play this type of game. So Neto's coming out and he's...
But Raya doesn't play the game that Neto tried to play.
Well, that's the thing. That's obvious. Neto's not playing his game. Neto's not stood in his natural position.
He's not trying to play Raya's game.
He's trying to do something that isn't him. He's trying to be someone that maybe I'm the sweeper keeper. Maybe that's who I am.
Yeah. If anything, he was playing Ramsdale.
He'll end up with Ramsdale.
Yeah.
Oi.
100.
No.
1. Calm. Saliba.
Terrible.
Now this is an interesting one because you know my feelings on Saliba. I have high expectations for Saliba. So if we've set the scale as 6 is the expected level of performance. Where are you thinking with Saliba?
I would say 7.
Yeah, you think he's been above?
I would say it's tough because you have to do it over the course of the season.
Yeah.
There's definitely been times when he's been below it. But then I also remember saying, like, through the Real Madrid games, which he also made a mistake in, and there's been a couple other games this season, like even Aston Villa at home. Like, there's been games where we've needed Saliba to be a 10, and he's been a 10 in those games. And then there's games where we've needed him to just be Saliba, and he's been a clown.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I don't know if he's just put in a season that I expect of him. There's been times where Gabriel's been out, Saliba's had to step up and do his thing. But it's not been his best season by a long stretch.
Yeah.
It's been his most...
Probably been his
worst season.
Right?
Yeah, it's been his most mistake, unforced errors season. But I don't think that he's delivered a season that is like... And I hear it. You have higher expectations of Saliba. We're kind of judging him against himself here. So I wouldn't be able to go above a 7, but I feel like a 6 is maybe too harsh just to say that Saliba did what he was supposed to do this season. Only because there was times when Gabriel was out and it still felt like, we weren't really winning all those games, but he held it down in the games we needed him to hold it down in. I'm trying to think of potentially his best performances this season. And like, how good were they? How like...
The Real Madrid at home game was flawless.
And we needed him.
Yeah.
Villa early in the season.
Yeah. Saliba's had a lot of good games, but I can't expect him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only thing is he did like hold it down and like maintain a level after Gabriel went out, but I'd kind of also put an expectation on Saliba to hold his centre back partner's hand.
Yeah.
During that, which
but I think like you do expect that, but I think
it turned out he actually just maybe didn't need to.
No, but I think that comes down to Saliba.
Potentially.
Like, I think Kivior did raise the levels, has gone up in everybody's estimations as he should have. But I also kind of think that Saliba's game made it comfortable for.
But then the way he assisted Mateta.
No, Saliba's had so many clown moments this season. Even the Bournemouth red card, I'm not completely. It's not. It's like I still say I don't know how the ref has judged that he's a goal scoring opportunity, but that stuff hurt us. Like Saliba's mistakes have hurt us. This season. Yeah, but the games where there's games where he's been Saliba, and then there's games where he's been the 10 out of 10 monstrous defender. Even the away leg in which he gave the goal away for. He still had Mbappe.
In the Real Madrid,
he still had Mbappe locked down. Still had guys on the ropes. Like it wasn't that we were on the ropes at Madrid.
100%.
You know, they didn't really create anything, and he was part of that. I hear it. Like the thing is, what we expect of him is so high. We expect.
I don't think I'd go higher than a 7.
I can't go higher than a 7.
Okay, so for me, it was going to be 6 or 7. I don't think he's been below what I expected of him. Some of the mistakes are a bit jarring, but like he is still young, and like you say, in other games when you're doing like an average across the whole season, he's been above that, right? So to be honest, I'm good with a 6 or a 7. 7's probably more fair. Like and I'm aware that I'm like overly harsh on Saliba sometimes, but that's kind of because of the expectations I have on him. I'll let you pick. You're 6 or 7. Because I've said this before, I genuinely think Saliba should be like Van Dijk level. Yeah.
But even Van Dijk's made mistakes this season. It's just that his team have been able to bail him out. Like we saw him get clapped up by Isak and all these guys. We've seen him make mistakes in these games when we're sending it in. Being like, what's Van Dijk doing? Why is he not coming out to his man? It's just that his team have ultimately ended up probably winning that game, or it just has an effect. Even the PSG one, we were getting onto him when they got knocked out.
Yeah. But
it's just that I hear it, you know, and I also think
a difference still in it
because you feel it more with Saliba. That mistake has cost you direct points. It's cost you direct points.
And like Van Dijk's been good enough to just go and win a second Premier League as Liverpool captain, as Liverpool's best centre back, as the best centre back in the league.
Yeah. Like I'm not here to say that Saliba's been Van Dijk level. Like
if Saliba had made the mistakes he's made this season, but we'd won the league, he'd be on an 8 or a 9.
But I also just think that like Saliba, it's definitely not been his best year. I don't know if I'll try and compare it to other years. Like, is this a 7 year for Saliba versus other years? You know, last season I could have had him at an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, first season 8 or 9. I'm all right with 6 or 7, to be honest. Like,
I'll go with a 6 then.
Because the only thing is, if we say 7, then it's kind of like if he repeats this next year, it's kind of
has he all right? Exactly, has he done all right?
Yeah.
No, and I was thinking that to the point about Raya. When I think of Saliba, I think of the Villa game, I think of the Real Madrid games, but I do think of the Bournemouth game, I do think of the Crystal Palace game. Like, I do think of these games where, I mean, we did win the Crystal Palace game, but like some of those mistakes, I was just like, bro, what is this? What are we doing here? So maybe a 6, because there isn't that gut feeling of like he's won us more than he's lost us. The same way I have for Raya, when I'm like, I think of Raya, I can just only think of great saves.
Yeah.
And like, how has he got there and all that kind of stuff. With Saliba, due to the expectation and some of the seasons I've seen before from him, I can go with 6.
And it's not a case of like, if we've given Saliba a 6 and I know someone else gets a 7, that they've had a better season than Saliba.
Yeah. Their 6 is not
relative to their level and what we expect of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. We'll give Saliba a 6 there. Arsenal fans, if you think we've been harsh, even rival fans, let us know. Gabriel.
Gabriel.
What are you thinking for this one?
Will get a 8, 7, 8 from me. I'll say 8. It's tough because it's been so long now since I feel like we've seen Gabriel. But from the start of the season till he got injured, I was very happy with Gabriel. He was Mr. Consistent. He was performing. There wasn't.
We had the conversation and we said Briar, Gabriel, and Timber.
Yeah. Put in.
And I think Saka maybe were the only ones that could say that they've been at a level.
Title winning level. So I think Gabriel's been up there. As I say, it's a little like it feels like forever since I've seen Gabriel play football. But Gabriel was doing his thing. Gabriel
I was
holding
going to
it
say
down.
8 or 9. Because I think he was kind of flawless.
There isn't many downsides to Gabriel. I think the only downside.
I think he reaches the 8 just from the goals he scores.
Yeah. I mean, he could reach the 8 just from, bro, his mentality, especially coming into the big games. I said it when he was out. I was like, it's a shame we've got past Real Madrid because the Gabriel semi-final performances were just going to be immense. But it's going to be huge. I'm happy to give Gabriel an 8. He's been by far and away our best defender this year. Well,
I'd almost give him a 9 though.
I'll stay with it.
I'm not really sure what more
he could have done. Not get injured. That's it. That's how you get 9.
Yeah. So and that knocks him to the 9.
No, that knocks him to the 8. That knocks him to the 8.
Can you remember a Gabriel mistake this year? Because when I realized we were going to do this, I was like, obviously the Saliba ones kind of stick in your memory. I was like, has Gabriel actually?
No, I can't. But that's the thing. I feel like I just haven't seen him play football forever. I can't remember Gabriel mistake. I can't.
I don't mind an 8. I'd be closer to going to a 9, but we can go with an 8.
Yeah.
We can go with an 8. Room for improvement. 10 Premier League goals next year.
Yeah, that's what gets him to 10.
Even with 4 or 5
that's what
mistakes.
Gets him to
10. Yuri and Timber.
Yeah, this is a 9.
9.
Easy.
Could even be a 10.
I think he's been our best defender. And he's been my favorite,
I guess,
player.
Yeah, when you put in if you're adding in availability as well, which I get is an important thing.
Yeah, I just think also we asked him to do the left back thing. We've asked him to do the right back thing. We've asked him to do the centre back thing at times this season, and I don't feel at any point he's been a liability for us or he's a weak point. So I always feel like that's the side you probably shouldn't go down if you're if you're the opposition team. And as well, maybe there is a little bit of surprise factor in the 9 because we didn't know what we was going to get from Timber.
Yeah. I mean, to do what he's done off the back of an ACL,
we didn't really know what we was going to get, but he's been here every week and he's been probably a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week. Minimum. So when we end the league with the best defensive record and golden gloves and least conceded goals and all this kind of stuff, and you realize that Yuri and Timbers has played 33 out of those games. You know,
any thoughts of him potentially getting a 10 or? What do you think he was maybe missing?
I think he could get a 10. I think the only thing that he could potentially be missing is G's and A's, and that's another hipster thing to say about a right back, centre back, left back hybrid. How many G's and A's does he really need? He got a goal versus United in a Big 6 game. Love that. He's got a couple of assists over the season.
Yeah.
But just because he is kind of decent on the ball, he does have a little bit about him. We'd expect a bit more. He even got the dunk, PSV. I love that. It's a great hit, you know. But I think that's the only thing holding me back from a 10. I will say is now he's been my.
I think when you look at some of the matchups, that could potentially push him to a 10 because he's had to
off an ACL.
Face Vinny for 180 minutes. Face
Kvaratskhelia.
We saw in the final for 180 minutes.
Yeah. He's had everybody in the Prem as well.
Yeah.
Either side, and we switched the hardest matchup onto Timber. That's the guy we want guarding the hardest matchup. So
I'm happy with 9.
I actually would be happy to give him a 10.
I hear your point
don't
on maybe
really know what's holding me back.
If we'd got a touch more
goals
going forward,
and that's the improvement for next season. If Timber puts in this exact same season next season, but with I don't even need an additional 5 goals. I really only need 2 or 3. An additional 2 goals. Yeah. then we're seriously cooking.
Yeah, agreed.
We've seriously got someone that is special, and he's mad young, bro. He was like 23, 24. It's been a phenomenal year, bro. He's been my personal favorite Arsenal player this season in terms of like everything included, the surprise package of it all, his actual ability, his aggressiveness, all of that. I feel like I never once thought about changing Ben White.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, okay, if Timber starts, I'm not upset at all. Type of situation. And then going into the season, I never thought that Ben White needs to sit out games or some games out for Ben White or any of that kind of stuff.
Game's a Ben White game.
You know. But now, well, he has to sit out this one. It's calm because we've got Timber. If Ben White's not 100% fit, there's no need to rush him back.
And even so we'll give Timber a 9. I agree with what you're saying. He's been one of our best defenders, I think, him and Gabriel. And so I'm happy to give him a 9. We gave Gabriel an 8. Yeah, that's fine. And you talk about Ben White there. Ben White next up on the list. I think Ben White, even though we were saying that every game's a Ben White game, there's, even from his performances towards the back end of the season, there was a difference between, at least we have 2 right backs that might give us different things. Ben White managed to pick up a couple of assists just towards the end of the season.
Well, look, Ben White's always had that.
Yeah.
He's always had that on-ball ability in a different way to Timber as well. Like, they're both good on the ball. It's just that Ben White in the final third, he knows that right back role, the teachings from Arteta and Cuesta. He's been on lock.
The automatism.
The Arteta talks about. He knows what ball to put in, how to put it in, and how to pick a man. I think Ben White's tough. He's been injured for so long in this season, so I feel pretty just like 6.
But
I feel like
before the injury, when he was playing with like a grade 2, playing Stamford Bridge, playing St. James.
I just feel like Ben White Ben White's never really lower than the 6 or a 7 on the football pitch anyway, with a grade 2, grade 4, grade 5 hamstring. You know, he's never really lower than a 6 or a 7 on a football pitch, and I feel like a 6 is fair for him. It's just, this is like comfortably. A year to forget makes it sound like he's had a terrible year, but a year to forget for Ben White just because he's been injured. He's not had a terrible year. He's not been a bad player. It's just that this was that one year that you had where you were injured and you weren't able to, like, you know, operate at your full capacity. So yeah, I would give Ben White a 6. Love him. Still want him to be here next season. Still want him to start games and all of the above. It's just one of those years for Ben White. It's just, I don't know if there's too much to say on him for the simple fact that he missed such a large. And even when he was back, he was still kind of not back.
I agree, a 6. I think this, not so much that what Ben White gave us was that what we expected of, because we probably expect more from Ben White because of what we've seen. But when you factor in the injury and stuff,
we weren't expecting.
Yeah, I think a 6 is a fair score. 7, or number 7 on the list, Miles Lewis-Skelly. For me, this has to be a 9 or a 10.
I was gonna say, like, can I
9.5.
Yeah. Like,
if you're gonna go 9.5, I feel like you may as well.
No, I'll give him a 9. I'll give him a 9.
9?
Oh, like,
6 being what we expected.
Yeah. He was like 3 times better than I expected.
Only 3.
And the only reason I can't give him a 10 is because of the red cards. That's the only reason I can't give him a 10. Like, that is the one thing, and it's not even that Lewis-Skelly's got
not
like...
the Wolves one, though.
Not the Wolves one, not the Wolves
one. The West Ham one.
The West Ham one. Even the one that he got away with at PSV. We had to sub him off with, you know. And as I say, these aren't like...
He's 18.
Exactly. But that's the only reason why it hasn't been a perfect introductory season.
I'm going to fight for Miles to get a 10.
Hey, I'm not going to...
I'm arguing for... I hear the red card thing, and that could drop him, but...
He's got the goals, he's got the assists, he's been a metronome.
Even if you take all of that away, the guys played... You made the point about Modric playing 15 Champions League finals, maybe, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Miles Lewis-Skelly's gone played Champions League quarterfinal, home and away. So that includes a trip to the Bernabeu for 90 minutes, where he's got to lock up Rodrigo. He's played home and away against PSG in a Champions League semi-final. He's got a lock-up, Doué or Kvaratskhelia shifting over,
Dembele, yeah.
all of these guys, and the kid's 18. Like, what more does he have to do? He scored against Man City.
On that part, I agree. Like, there's nothing more that Lewis Skelly could do to prove that he's a first team player or a starter. There's nothing more he could do
to get a 10. What more can he do to get a 10?
It would literally be
not pick up one dubious red card against West Ham.
But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, because I guess he only has. But did he get 2 red cards? He got Wolves one, which doesn't count. West Ham, but did he get another?
No, but the Wolves one I think counts on the
actual thing, even though it got rescinded.
Thing, yeah, because he got the red card.
Okay, is there another?
There was the PSV one you're talking about where he kind of
got away with one. So it's not that many.
But I think that was it. Yeah,
it's not that. It's not.
We were there with the smear campaign.
No, the smear campaign was not. We said it on the pod how nasty the smear campaign was. But you've seen the U-turn post smear campaign. Now he's the best left back. He's starting in the team. He's all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. I
think I don't know.
I can give him a 10 because I don't know what more Skelly can do, bro. There wasn't even an opening for the left back position at the start. We had too many left backs.
Yeah,
we had way too many left backs at the start of the season.
That was actually one of our signings.
we had too many, and now we've ended with the 18-year-old. He's just head and shoulders the best left back at the football club. So I hear you. There isn't anything else he can do to get a 10. And I've said it, I still don't think that this is Lewis Skelly's breakout season. Watch this space next season. So I'm comfortable giving him a 10 because, bro, it's probably the biggest silver lining of the season.
Yeah, agreed.
The fact that we've got Lewis Skelly.
So that's the first 10 given to Miles Lewis Skelly, and deservedly so. Next one, the left back that we thought was going to be the number 1 left back because he did come in the summer, Ricardo Calafiori. Now this is an interesting.
No, I've actually got to give him a 5.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
It's an interesting one because the highs are high.
If he hadn't scored against Man City, he could be on a 2.
Exactly.
Right.
If 6 is like sort of expectations, I expected Calafiori to play.
But then it's interesting, right? Because I kind of agree with the 5 because we expected more from Calafiori in terms of availability on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect Calafiori to score it on his debut at the Etihad, and I didn't expect Calafiori to be winning us points away at Wolves when we're down to 10 men. And
but then it's the opposite to the Timber thing. It's like as soon as we realized that you are this type of player, Timber just was like, I'm calm, I'm happy to do this every week. Calafiori was like, I'm happy to do this every 6 weeks if you're lucky. Yeah. Once he set his level, which he did at his debut, and it's like I'm capable of doing this.
Yeah.
He then refused. I would say refused.
Yeah.
He then he didn't play football. Like I would be shocked if Calafiori started back-to-back games this season in any competition, or even made. Oh, he definitely would have made back-to-back squads. But like, it feels as if Calafiori hasn't made 3 squad lists in a row this season. And I feel like I would have expected him, after having such a good start, to be fit. If he had put in Timber's season, I'd be like, I probably expected that of Timber coming off an ACL and all these other niggles and injuries and all that stuff adds up. But no, it's the opposite. And Calafiori did have a major injury prior to coming to us. But yeah, I'm not upset with Calafiori. I'm not like he's got a go or anything like that. That's a quality player. That's 22 years old. That's a unique profile.
Well, we can't say that he did what we expected.
But exactly, I can't say that he has given me what I expected this season. And a lot of it is simply just fitness. Like a lot of it is simply. It's not like
all of it.
It's not on the ball stuff. It's not like he's.
Because when we have seen him play,
he's been alright. He's been good.
Pretty well.
Yeah, he's been good. So, yeah, I'd say it's been slightly underwhelming, and mainly from a fitness point. And if we can get someone like that to be fit, I think the combination, the Ben White, Timber, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly combination is as good as fullback depth as you're gonna get, not just even in the league, but like in many of the top 5 leagues.
And we're even missing one.
Yeah,
we will come on to. Okay, so Calafiori 5, yeah.
Well,
Yeah. We're expecting bigger things next year. Next up, Farmer Jakob Kiwior. What if a 6 is what we expected? What does Jakob Kiwior get?
He gets.
For me, he gets an 11.
No,
For me,
don't
he
do
gets
that. Don't do that.
What we expected.
I
No, you
expected this
didn't.
of
No, you
Kiwior.
didn't.
I expected this.
You expected Kiwior to make a mistake in both games against Real Madrid.
No.
We expected Kiwior to make a mistake
Okay.
in both games against PSG.
I don't know if it was going to be a mistake. I just expected Kiwior to get cooked, and not necessarily by his own fault. Not like Kiwior's given up a goal. It's just that there's nothing Kiwior can do versus that ISO on Vinny or Mbappe or Rodrigo or whoever it is. So, but I also do agree that he's
crunch on Vinny.
Yeah. I agree that he's okay. He's performs better than like what Arsenal fans or any sort of fan would have expected.
We've
of
all
him.
agreed that this we were Kiwior guys. We've both agreed that we didn't see. This
No, he did produce at a level, because it wasn't even just like the Madrid games. Yeah, like in all the other games that Kiwior was playing at as well, we're under pressure, we're being hemmed in, and someone just swings a ball nicely into someone in midfield. I'm like, who played that? And it was Kiwior off his left foot. So Kiwior's got the long raking one switch of play onto the other side.
Even in that second half against Newcastle, he had to play with Calafiori next.
But
he's getting an 11 from me, man. You went well and truly above and beyond what I expected. Well and truly.
But I also did kind of think that Kiwior isn't the clown that.
Yeah, we knew.
Everyone was saying he was. Like for the past 2 seasons, everyone would say Kiwior's been above my expectations. So how surprised are you at the second season in a row? Like last season, Kiwior performed above our expectations.
Like last summer, it was most Arsenal fans would have sold Kiwior, right?
Yeah.
We were obviously talking about it as like Arteta's built this piece.
Yeah.
But most Arsenal fans would have sold Kiwior, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's pretty much a non-starter this summer.
But last summer he still would have performed better than our expectations. Last season, that 15 game stretch that Kiwior had last season. But I don't know if that's
for us, yes. But I feel like
I don't know. Fans
Nick, for example, Nick's not happy with what Kiwior was giving us last year.
I think
everyone just kept coming back with cooked by Sane.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing is like, and I was getting onto Kiwior for getting cooked by Sane. Yeah, because it was like he was so obviously like
not
just
at the level.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was going to change.
But for the 15 games for that stretch, bro, from Jan till damn near when we lost to Munich, Kiwior was playing a lot of games.
That's why I wanted to keep him.
And barely dropped a stinker, barely cost us any points. Kiwior was getting a lot of praise, and that was when Kiwior stocks were even lower. This season, I was like, I'm not expecting Kiwior to do much versus Real Madrid, but in every other game, I'm like, I know Kiwior. It's not that he's at the level, but it's like I know this is a competent player. Like I saw him
left back shift.
I saw him for 15 games, and maybe that's even more impressive. Now he's in his natural position.
I was worried. Like my argument for keeping Kiwior and coming into this season, I used to say to guys that no team in the Premier League has a better 6th choice centre back.
Yeah.
But now he is just the 3rd choice centre back potentially at Arsenal.
Yeah, but
so for him to jump that highly on that many places, from being 6th choice last year to now 3rd choice, there's honestly not any more Kiwior could have done to go above and beyond what I thought he was.
I think Kiwior has still gone above and beyond and been like an 8 this season, been like a 9 this season. Like, and he's still gone above and beyond.
You have to give him a 9 minimum. Because how stressed were we? We were talking about Real Madrid game, yeah. We were like, we've got Gabriel and we might be able to win the home game, and then
and he kept a clean sheet. He kept
comes in, and we're like, there's not really. I don't really think we have any chance.
And I agree, but this is just like rating Kiwior of Kiwior, yeah. Maybe there's a bit of revisionism in this, but Kiwior has been, fans would have sold him just because, like, they thought he wasn't at the level. The Munich game was so damning. Everybody wanted change, all this kind of stuff. But Kiwior's made massive steps this year, but it kind of feels in line with what Kiwior was doing last year. It just feels like he made progress last year, and he's made progress this year. Like, he's a better player than he was last season, and he's been a better player than he was the season before then. And it's just
you reckon you saw Kiwior becoming this player?
And that's the thing. No one saw Kiwior becoming this player, but I also didn't think that Kivior was gonna come in and be an absolute clown show. Yeah,
Which he
like
wasn't last year. Yeah,
and last year was the reason I thought that, because he
like,
didn't come in last year and was an absolute clown show.
Yeah.
It was only that's why we had so much fear for the Madrid game.
Yeah,
was because we felt, all right, when Kivior gets to this level, he's maxed out
Yeah.
already, and
Yeah.
so I hear it. Maybe even just for how well he performed over the 2 Madrid games, but in terms of how Kivior performed over the season, I don't think fans should be like worried, yeah, if Kivior is stepping into the lineup, because it would be 3 seasons now.
Yeah, 100%.
It would be 3 next season if when Kivior does his stint at centre back. It'll be the 3rd season in a row that Kivior is going to step up for us when someone's down and out, and then it's like, how more shocked can we be?
Agreed. But when Kiwior stepped in this season, I think fans had a right to be worried.
They did, especially for, I hear it, as I say, for the Madrid games, because bro,
coming in to replace Gabriel,
Sane cooked him.
Yeah,
Sane cooked him. It felt like, oh, bro, this is like schoolboy stuff from Kivior, and it almost erased the 50 good games that he had before then.
Yeah.
But I can say like a 9 for Kivior, because he's gone from being somebody that you would potentially like sell to somebody now that you must keep. He's gone from somebody who's 6th choice
so
to
what would
somebody who's 3rd
Kiwior
choice.
have to have done, scored against Real Madrid to get a 10?
It's not even that. For Kivior to get a 10, I think I need like a 6-month stint where it's like we're done asking about Gabriel, whoever it is that's out.
But I don't think we're ever gonna get that, man.
I don't know. Don't count your chickens.
You're gonna have to get a serious injury.
Yeah. I just think that Kivior's done not the exact same stint, but last season he played about 15 games and was good.
Yeah,
for 14 of them. This season he's maybe played like 16 games, 17 games, and he's been good again for 15, 16 of them. So it's like Kivior, for the games that he's played,
even those games before Gabriel got injured, those games he had to come in and play. Against Man United.
Yeah. We were saying that
whatever
like
else when he comes
it wasn't
in.
really, Kivior's not really made. It was like he had like a 1 and 2 clean sheet record.
Yeah.
We'd play.
I don't know. For me, it was just that I thought Kiwior, and he did all right last year, but I just thought Kiwior was a player that would more often than not have a mistake in him, but that's not really an issue if the guy's your 6th choice centre back. So
yeah.
But then for him to come on what he's come on this year, and everyone like was talking about Kiwior. Do you remember how much rival fans were laughing? Not Gabriel.
Yeah.
Kiwior, and then Dembele's gonna butt Kiwior, and all of these guys, and they're gonna rip him. And Kiwior, long day for him. And Kiwior just comes out. Yeah, I'll win this one. We've won 5-1 against Real Madrid. I played 180 minutes. I'll go to the Parc de France.
I think we had these exact same conversations last year, though. Everyone was like, Kiwior, Man City away. They're going to rip him. And Kiwior just comes out with a clean sheet, and Kivior's done his job. And we had games after that.
But he was getting ripped a bit.
Kiwior just does his job.
Silva was ripping him. Like, so are you telling me that Kiwior's not better than he was last year?
I'm saying Kiwior is better than he was last year, but I'm just saying because of last year's trajectory, it's not that this year isn't surprising. It's just that I'm not like, where has this come from? I feel like I've always thought
this.
Not this, because he's at a level that it's like, yeah, Kivior's up here now. Yeah. But I've always known that Kivior isn't down here. He's not starting from down here.
He's not scrub.
The way certain guys have Kivior starting from down here. Yeah, he showed last season that he's at least here and he's gone to here. Yeah, as opposed to being,
that's a big jump.
As opposed to being down here, and then So, look, all of this is to say how good Kivior has been this season.
I'm saying 11, you're saying 9. Let's settle on 10.
No, I can't. I'm leaving the 10s. Kivior's been a 9. He's been Kivior has been very, very, very good this season. I'm happy. It's not that I wanted more from Kivior. It's just that I got what I got from Kivior last year, and just a bit. Kivior,
on steroids.
He would have gone 8 last year. He would have got 9 this year.
He would have gone 8 last year.
Yeah,
you reckon?
Yeah. Kivior was good.
I don't know. I think there's revisionism on that.
Kivior was good. We had from Jan, bro. From Jan,
if the scale is what we expect of them,
Bro, last year,
I think we would have got a 7.
last year,
I think the Sane cook him.
Last year from Jan, we won every game, bar 2. We drew at City, we lost to Villa. Kivio probably would have started 11 of those 14, 15 games.
Yeah.
You know? So he was a large...
JK Penitentiary.
He was a large part of that run.
That was started by yours truly.
And you saying he was playing out of position last year at left back.
I thought that was his position.
So
I thought he was playing out of position this year.
My foundations for Kivio were solid. They've been solidified this year. But I never thought that Kivio was an absolute bum or scrub. Yeah, but he has just had a very, very, very impressive year. But last year, he was like, for that 14, 15 game stretch that which Arsenal fans love to speak about how good we were, Kivio was a massive part of that. So how could he be a clown? You know?
I don't know about massive. Yeah. And I was here saying JK Penitentiary, but he was a part of it. Yeah. He was a part of it. The only reason I would give him a 10 is because I just don't think, like, unless Mikel's going to add like another layer of cement and another brick and another layer of cement, I don't know how Kivio gets better than this.
But he kind of does get better if he becomes
if he just stays at the level
third choice centre back, like
which he has become.
If we get more Kivio minutes because we can take Gabriel off or Saliba off in certain games, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go and just whack Kivio in there rather than whoever else we were trying out before the Zinchenko minutes are gone, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, then I think he just does get better. Like if Kivio can start the FA Cup games, if we can have a dicey Carabao Cup tie versus Brentford and completely trust Kivio to play there next to Saliba or whoever it is.
But would we have said that last year?
Not at the beginning of the season.
Because this year, in all the cup games, we've had to play Gabriel and Saliba.
So not at the beginning of last season, we wouldn't have said that. But I think from Jan to the end of last season, he proved himself. Arteta didn't... I can't say trust him this season.
No, but at the beginning of the season just gone,
would we have said that Kivio could start?
Because even in those Carabao Cup games and it was still Gabriel and Saliba.
Yeah, look, I do hear that point. Like Kivio shouldn't have or wouldn't have started Carabao and FA Cup games at the beginning of this season. Yeah, but that was because it was a must-win season. So I wanted to see the full strength team all the way through.
But next season's even more must-win.
And now next season is even more must-win. And now we know that Kivio's at the level, and maybe we don't get the Gabriel injury because we can rotate and trust Kivio. But all of that can be said with Kivio just making, I can't say incremental, he's making huge leaps season upon season, but it isn't like this season came out of the blue. That's really my point where I can't give him a 10 or an 11 because I feel like Kivio's been making these kind of leaps. Like last season, he went from like a scrub, quote unquote, or like somebody that Arsenal fans didn't really have any sort of interest in, to like, oh, well, he's all right, but maybe we should still sell him.
Yeah.
And now he's gone from maybe we should still sell him to like, oh, actually, no, we need to keep.
We both never saw him getting to this level.
No, like, especially the level he showed at Madrid and stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't think any fan could have predicted it. Yeah. I still would have expected Kivio to concede.
Yeah.
But like he's gone up tenfold in terms of his importance to the club.
You know what we'll do for this one? We'll just have two separate ratings because Kivio's getting a 10 from me. We're not ending the season, ending the pod, and Kivio's not getting that 10 from me. So Kivio's getting a 10 from me. He's getting a 9 from Michael. Zinchenko.
I actually think 6.
You think he did what was expected?
Because I actually didn't expect much of Zinchenko this season.
True. But I would still, like, I'm not that far off it. I probably was going to go with a 5.
Yeah, I would have said 5, but then
I just think in some of those games where Zinchenko was subbed on throughout the whole season, where, and we're talking about bear off there with mid-block, low block, trying to break it down, I would have expected Zinchenko to have made more of an impact against those low blocks and breaking them down than he actually did.
I do kind of hear that. My only counterpoint to that is just like whenever I thought Arteta was subbing on Zinchenko, I was just like, "This the game is over."
Yeah, this is like the last chance.
Yeah, this is
Hail
like,
Mary.
Yeah, like
Hail
this
Mary.
is like.
Yeah.
Oh, Zinchenko's coming on.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's that like.
But I still think
he should have done something potentially. Like he still has the quality to unlock and open a defense, but I just feel like the relationship between Arteta and Zinchenko this year was like, bro, when I'm bringing you on, I've pretty much already thrown my hands up and said I've lost this game, especially if I'm bringing you on to chase break it. When I saw him come on at West Ham and he was the furthest player forward and he was sort of maybe the false nine and trying to receive the ball the highest up in between the lines. I was like, oh well, this is. And like it's nothing on Zinchenko. His position just essentially collapsed on him. Arteta gave it away. So
I hear your point though that like we had low expectations for him anyway.
And that was before we knew how good Lewis Kelly was. That was when Calafuri was still here.
But I still think he could have given us a bit more in those games. So I would go 5.
I can happily do a 5.
Then the big one, Tomiyasu. Now, when I was actually checking this, Tomiyasu's played 6 minutes this season.
Tomiyasu has to get a 0. Has to.
Yeah, he does. Tomiyasu does have to get.
Look at a guy who's played 6 minutes, have performed to any sort of level of expectation, even if you had 0 expectation.
Tomiyasu
got 6 minutes.
0. We touched on it at the top of the show. Keep or sell. You were saying keep because he's in because of the injury and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if he, let's say hypothetically, he is fit come pre-season, which seems like a long way off. But let's say hypothetically he is. And there's an offer on the table for 20 million.
I wouldn't sell Tomiyasu.
We bought him for 18, I think.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear anybody that would sell Tomiyasu. I hear it. Like there isn't much of an argument because it's not just this season, last season or this season that he's been injured. Like Tomiyasu's had stints where he's been out for long stretches of time over the 3 seasons he's been here. I just think that there is a good player in there still, and that for the 20 mil we're going to get from Tomiyasu, are we going to find the 20 million pound centre back who's better? And I've said Tomiyasu, I've said it on this pod, Tomiyasu is a centre back now. There shouldn't be any minutes for Tomiyasu at fullback. There's no more explosive runs. There's no more,
putting the hamstring or the knee.
It's very much, it should just be all about his mind and reading the game. And so I would keep Tomiyasu, and I don't know, like I think there is a little bit of bias in there. Like I feel like he's doing all the. Like Arteta says, I feel like he's doing all the right things. I feel like I don't. I don't know if he's one of those guys that's like potentially not living the way he should be living and getting injured, which makes it more annoying. I just feel like he's had a Ben White year to the extreme, where you just kind of have to forget about this year because you've been injured. And
I think look, I'm a Tomiyasu guy. I'm still in the camp of keep him, but next year's really do or die for him, man. If we get any sort of level of repeat of this, then we're just gonna have to sell him and cut ties. But yeah, cool. A 0 is harsh, but it is what it is. Or should we give him a 1 because he's trying to get back?
No, he gets 6 minutes is unacceptable, bro. It's unacceptable, especially because they told us that you're gonna miss pre-season to get right for the season.
Yeah.
Then you only played 6 minutes.
Look, I'm not gonna argue that one. Tierney,
bro. Tierney can get a 10.
No, stop.
Tierney can get a 10. I've loved every single game. I've loved every minute.
A 10, you're officially a Kiwior hater.
I love Kiwior. I'm just a Tierney lover.
Tierney can't get 10 and Kiwior gets 9.
Yo, what did you expect of Tierney this season?
Tierney's gone above and beyond, just like Kiwior. But he has not done more than what Kiwior has done.
He's not done more than what Kiwior's done. He's not. But he's done more for Tierney and Tierney's expectations.
No, because I knew Tierney had them products. We always knew Tierney had that whip. Always. I'm willing to give Tierney an 8 or a 9.
I'll have to settle on 9 because Tierney deserves a 10. I'll have to settle on
9.
I have to. Bro,
but he's not getting higher than Kiwior. He's not getting higher
every game. I'm like, I think Tierney was our best player today.
Yeah.
Every time I saw
created a goal scoring opportunity.
every Tierney cameo, I'm like, oh well, that was perfect.
But similar to what you're saying about the Kiwior, like there was a body of work there last year.
But he was a source with the last year. He was injured.
No, but
but there was a body of work to go. Yeah.
Tierney, forget about. Like, I thought Tierney, fitness-wise and everything else, there could be problems. But one thing Tierney has always had is an end product. Yeah, is a final ball, which we saw. But 100% Tierney's gone above and beyond.
I've loved every minute. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And he also looks like, and this is like fan stuff, where he just looks like he's eager to play for the badge.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
show
That's why the
spirit
guys love him.
show spirit and fight. Show spirit and fight.
They still
and,
sing you. There's only one Kieran Tierney.
like 9 is good. He's gone above and beyond expectations. Bro, I can't say you'll be missed because Skelly's here, but you'll
be missed as a person.
Yeah.
Like
there's a place in our heart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the better way to put it.
The Tierney shorts and Tesco bag in the winter.
Yeah, hey, I still love all of those. Still love all those jokes.
But yeah, cool. I'm happy to go with a 9. I love Tierney as well. Declan Rice. Moving on to the midfielders now.
I think Declan Rice has been very good this season.
Yeah.
Especially
January onwards.
I don't know if he's been better than last season, though. I feel like I really loved Declan Rice last year. He's been really good this year.
He's got better numbers this year.
Hit 10
and 10 on comps.
But
which are big,
maybe last year there's a little bit of a new signing,
fresh blood.
type thing. But I don't think it's like a crazy difference between last year and this year. I think he's been roughly around the same level. I just feel like last year I can't say higher highs, but like more like, oh yeah, Declan Rice won us this game, or that was a Declan Rice type of game. I'll go for.
He's got to get 2 individual points for both free kicks.
Yeah, exactly. Fair. I'll go for a 9 then. Like, I think Declan Rice has been again a consistent stalwart for our team.
Mm-hmm.
However many games we won this season, I'm sure Declan Rice started 95% of those games. It was a huge influence as to why we won those games. The set piece thing has still been there for us. Big goals, still been there for us. And United goals again.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Newcastle.
Exactly. But then the only down thing is that I do think exactly that the first 6 months weren't. It wasn't that he was terrible. They just weren't at his level.
I think. Because I have just said that he should get.
And that's the thing. The Real Madrid thing is like
kicks, but I don't. And we'll come on to it, but I don't actually think that over the course of the whole season, January onwards for sure, but over the course of the whole season, I don't think he was our best midfield player. And I don't think.
No, he wasn't. Not over the course of the whole season.
Right. And I'm not going to give the other guy a 10 because I don't think he can get a 10.
Yeah.
So I would give Rice an 8.
I would have given Rice an 8, but the Real Madrid things is what makes me.
But I think even that, like maybe he was at a 7, you had the Real Madrid stuff. I think, unless we do give the other guy a 10. But.
Well, he has to sign a contract.
I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can do
that. Just give him a 10 and then
so I would go for an 8.5, pushing 9, something like that. But literally everything you said, I think you touched on everything there. Free kicks, level of performance, consistency, and also for Rice, the scale is higher. Like I've said before, that Rice might be the most consistent football player in the world. Right? He turns up and churns out performances. So the scale for Rice.
It's different.
6,
100%.
Right? Is that's going to be higher than almost everyone else's 6 on here. So
100%.
An 8 still means he's had a very, very good season.
Yeah, and I think that's, to be fair, I think that's kind of widely acknowledged.
Yeah,
because like a lot of guys have Declan Rice in their team of the seasons or whatever it is, and I still don't think it's been his best year for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So it's like people still see what he brings to the team. They still see the profile and how it affects winning. And to be fair, that is literally what Declan Rice does.
Yeah. So 8?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let you take this one. Martin Odegaard.
Martin Odegaard has been...
For what you expected of him.
A 1?
Yeah.
A 1? Like...
Could even be 0.
Yeah, literally could even be 0. I think the only reason he can't get 0 is because he played football.
Yeah.
But we had it on the pod. You asked me, do I ever think Martin Odegaard can come back and all this kind of stuff? Like, it has been such a dark year for Martin Odegaard, and there isn't much to be said other than like has to be the worst professional year of his career, and he has to keep it that way. He can't have another season anywhere close to this season, at least at Arsenal Football Club. If you want to go anywhere else and have these kind of seasons, fine, fair enough, whatever. But he can't have a year that he's had this year. He can't come anywhere close to this level, bro.
Yeah.
And like with Martin, it's different because I do expect G's and A's off Martin. He's a 10 and he has the ability to score goals and create. But there is a level that I'm willing to sacrifice of G's and A's for game control and what he brings to our tempo and creating chances and all this kind of stuff.
But he's taking the piss
making us tick.
Yeah, but he's taking the piss.
Exactly. But this it's beyond. It's well beyond that. It's well beyond the level of like, you controlled the game or you set the press. And I'm not even giving Martin. I know he wants brownie points for setting the press, bro. But you're not getting brownie points of me for setting the press.
It's like I'll always try and give him the Bernardo Silva leeway of not like goals and assists aren't your thing. Yeah. But you should still be putting some of them on.
Yeah.
Right.
Bernardo does, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. One, we've had too many conversations on Odegaard.
Exactly. He's just been the worst player.
Yeah. Mikel Marino.
Now this.
Again, 6 being what we expected.
This could be a 10. This could be a 9 or a 10.
I think it has to be one of those.
Like, as you say, based off the expectations, I expected Mikel Marino to come here and be a decent squad player. Expecting Mikel to come, and if somebody's injured in midfield, either the 6 or the 8 position, the level doesn't drop dramatically to Lokonga or, you know.
Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, exactly.
Emil Smith Rowe.
Something like that. And I think Mikel's delivered way above just being a squad player and just making sure that if someone's injured, that we have somebody who's competent.
I mean, if I had told you that when we signed him 6 months later, guys would genuinely be discussing if he's our best striker.
Yeah, and I also think that without Mikel Marino, like this, with Mikel Marino, it's a disappointing season. Without Mikel Marino, I don't think Arteta's in a job.
Yeah. I don't know if we make top 4.
Yeah, I don't think Arteta's in a job at the end of right now.
I think Marino finished with 7 league goals. I think the combined points won from those goals were like 17 points.
I'm not shocked, man. I'm not shocked. Marino's gone above and beyond expectations. He's been
played out of position.
Exactly. Well. He's been top. And it's kind of like the Raya thing. Like, and Marino's had bad moments, so it's not exactly
and he gets
like the
those
Raya
Declan
thing.
Rice +1s, Real Madrid goals.
Yeah. But when I think of Marino, I think of way more goal, like a game-saving, goal scoring moments than I do of the games when he's been bad. And he had some bad games. Like
this is kind of just shagged the whole best midfielder thing, but Marino's getting a 9 or 10. We haven't decided because of the striker shift as well.
Yeah. No, let's say 9, because the first.
I don't know, man. I do kind of think
he's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable.
Just for the striker thing, like the injuries we had that Leicester game.
Yeah, it changed. As I say, look, bro, this season would have been. It's already a disappointing season.
Yeah.
But how
without Marino,
how like depressing would all of it have been if we didn't get to watch Marino?
I'm really not too mad at the 10, man. With what Marino's given us this year.
Yeah.
Like if we gave him a 9, that means that we expected more.
Yeah, we couldn't have expected more.
And you said if Marino gets 7 goals in there, we don't know what he is.
Yeah. We couldn't have expected more.
So
you hit the targets. I set targets, he hit them.
Right, box crash goals.
I genuinely could not have expected the jewels. All those, the winning, the coming
2 assists in the Bernabeu.
The coming and winning of jewels was the minimum expectation for Marino, and he's done that.
The slide rule pass for Saka's goal in the Bernabeu is so good. Yeah, bro. I think Marino 10. Okay, this one, Thomas Partey. Now, this is who I was talking about when I said I think across the whole season.
I think he's been our best midfielder.
Has been. I think the second 6 months was Declan Rice because he really upped it. But I think Partey was keeping a lot of things locked down in that first season. Similar to Marino, we're talking about guys playing out of position.
Yeah, I was going to say the right back thing.
Partey was having to do right back shifts against like your favorite winger. Any of you listening to this, Luis Diaz,
Anthony Gordon,
whoever else it might have been in that time. I think the PSG at home game, I think he was such a big miss, such a massive miss.
I think Partey has I don't know. Whatever I did expect of Partey this season, and it's tough to quantify now what I expected of Partey this season, but it definitely wasn't.
Yeah,
this season.
Just from a fitness perspective,
it definitely wasn't this season that Partey has just put in for us. Especially after signing Mourinho and all this stuff, we still didn't actually know if Rice was going to move to the 6 and all of that. But Partey's been right where he needs to be, bro. The level he's been at. And the games in a row, as you say, from a fitness perspective, the games in a row that Partey's played
every 3 days.
I don't think we can ever expect that again. So for that, he probably just deserves a 10.
Yeah. The only thing I'm hesitant to give Partey a 10 is that he wasn't like flawless the whole season.
But there'll never be a flawless Partey. Even 22, 23.
Yeah.
Like the highs are the highs. But
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was only not flawless because he got injured.
Yeah.
On the pitch, it was
pretty flawless.
But
Partey's got big goals this
to be honest, I hear it. Like when we're talking about expectations.
Goals versus Villa, goals versus City.
The City game, that's why he's at a 9 already for me. Yeah. I'm just debating between 9 and 10. But the City game alone puts him at a 9. I just don't know if I can give him a 10. Like, from the fitness point of view, he can be at a 10.
But everything else you kind of expected. Not expected, but like...
Yeah, to some level. Like, I know Partey's quality. I know if Partey balls, then Arsenal play good football and we look fast in transitions and all of that stuff. So I think...
Right, then let's go 9 because I
he's done right back shifts as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it's tough, man. It's tough to say.
It's a difficult one. To be honest, you could go with either, man. Like, I'll let you pick, because both 9 or 10. I mean, you did say we can't give him a 10, and then he doesn't.
Exactly. It has to be a 9. It has to be a 9.
9 for Thomas Partey. Jorginho.
6. I just feel like he gave us what he's expected.
Yeah. There are a couple games where I was like, I missed what the Jorginho.
Yeah. But then there's a couple games I'm like, we need to get Jorginho.
Yeah.
And it's nothing about him.
Yeah.
It's just that when I'm seeing runners, I'm getting nervous for Jorginho. So it's not even that Jorginho's had a bad game. I'm just like, this guy looks quite quick, and I'm nervous.
Yeah, Jorginho, I think a 6 did what was expected. I'm gonna miss Jorginho.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss Jorginho.
But one thing I say about Jorginho is you would have been hard-pressed to find a guy who was more against the Jorginho signing than me.
Mm.
And now for me to actually sit here and say that I'm going to miss Jorginho, like on and off the pitch, is kind of a full circle moment. I really was really against signing more Chelsea deadwood. That like just bailing out Chelsea guys. But Jorginho's come and he's done his thing. And it also seems like he's really enjoyed his time at Arsenal. It seems like he might consider himself only an Arsenal.
Yeah. He'll be back doing the coaching badges. Bukayo Saka.
I want to go 8. Like, I expected a big year from Saka, and at the beginning of the season, we were getting a big year from Saka. And then the injury happened, and then post-injury, I was kind of still expecting Saka to be... I was still kind of expecting Saka to be...
pushed to
And, like, it's not a crime that he hasn't done it, but, like... And at the Real Madrid games, he was at the level, he did what he needed to do. PSG as well, he scored. So it's not like, again, he's not been bad. It's just for a Saka, as we were saying, the Saliba, the Declan Rice thing. It's like it's not been a 9 or 10 year from Saka, but it's not been a bad year from Saka as well. And by any stretch of the meaning,
I agree. I'd give him an 8, same as you, because I think when you come back from that kind of injury, and that kind of when you have to have surgery on your hamstring, I don't think you should be fully fit until you've played maybe for a month and a half, 2 months. Yeah. Saka came back and he came off the bench against Fulham. He came off the bench against Everton, and then he started Real Madrid. Yeah, that was his first start back from injury. He started both those games, and obviously started both the PSG games. And I don't think he was fully fit. Yeah. And like
Mm.
you said, he was still at the level. He was still balling. So for that reason, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I'm happy with an 8, and I'm still expecting big things from him next season.
Agreed. Kai Havertz finishes our top goal scorer with 9 Premier League goals, missed 3 months of the season or
I
so.
think this is actually quite tough because I think I got what I expected out of Kai Havertz. Like, I think we would have gotten more, but we always kind of thought Havertz was 1 and 2. And if you like take out some of the bullshit games that would have come after the injury, like the last 2 games of the season and all this kind of stuff, he probably would have been
1 and 2.
He probably would have been about 1 and 2.
I wasn't expecting him to be our top goal scorer though.
I wasn't expecting him to be. Well, yeah, I thought there was a possibility, but I'm kind of hoping that it wouldn't be. But like again, happy with Havertz. I'm not a Havertz out guy. I'm not even killing him or any of this stuff. I just kind of expected Havertz to be our 1 and 2 goal scorer, and he kind of was that. Like he's had the bad games, the Man United FA Cup game, and he's had some lows.
Even when he missed the chance against Man City.
Yeah. He's had some lows, but then there are some games. The Southampton game where Havertz doesn't score that goal and all this kind of stuff. Like he's been, as I've expected, it's similar maybe to a Ben White season where it's like it's not a completely unforgettable season. He scored 9 Premier League goals, so that's something to remember. But like we'll just have to see what happens next year. Move on quickly from this year because you spent so much of your time injured.
What we said, 7.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Just purely because I didn't expect him to be our top goal scorer, so I'll land for that. Gabriel Martinelli finished, I think, with 8 Premier League goals. Was fit most of the season.
I want to say 5 actually, man. Like I expected Martinelli. Maybe I was hoping, but I was expecting Martinelli to put last season behind him, and like it's not even a GA thing. It's tough with Martinelli because he just, it's such a love-hate relationship. Like
it's toxic.
Yeah, it really is toxic. Like I was kind of expecting Martinelli to play good football this year.
Yeah.
And to score goals this year and like to kind of get back to that 22-23 level. I was kind of hoping that last season was just a blip. And like now we get to see the real Martinelli. And I just feel like maybe actually this is just who Martinelli is.
Yep.
So it's tough to say that he's performed better than my expectations. I don't think overall for the season he's been a 5.
I mean, he beat his goal tally from last
year. But I just can't get out my head some of the Martinelli games where he's dribbling head down into a corner or like the stutter step that Martinelli does.
Martinelli did also have a burnabout goal.
He does, a winner as well.
He had an Anfield goal.
Yeah, but that's also just Martinelli now.
Yeah, to be fair, that is kind of what we expect.
Yeah. Like even next season, I expect 3 big goals from Martinelli in huge games. I just think I can give him a 6.
But yeah, I was gonna say 6.
I can give him a 6, 100%. I think I have a little bit of a like Martinelli. I just
the hope.
I just kind of need you to
get back to what you were doing.
Where's that gone?
Yeah, where has it gone?
Why does it look like that was never a part of your game? It
wasn't the same player.
Yeah.
That was just someone else.
Why does that look like that was never a part of your game now?
Agreed. But yeah, 6.
6, I can take a 6.
Ethan Nwaneri. Again, for me, I think this is a 9 or a 10.
I think I only go for a 9 because I don't think he's been as good as Skelly, but he has done like the how much more can he do type
and
of
and I do also think there's the I was saying this when they first broke on the scene that like Nwaneri might always be perceived as better because he's a forward player.
Yeah. Goal scorers.
Run Real Madrid home and away, and Lewis Skelly's kind of like you say, he's just solidified our best left back by streets. So I agree. Maybe so he can't get the 10 that Lewis Skelly got, but then it has to be a 9.
It has to be a 9 because how much could we have expected of a 17-year-old who we all thought was a good talent, but still has come and surpassed expectations, and he's just going to score in back-to-back Champions League games.
But he became like the second youngest.
Goal
scorer in Champions League history.
Ethan he's been that guy this season, and I actually think that he's kind of. It's tough to say. It's all relative. I think he's potentially been maybe mismanaged by Arteta, not massively, not egregiously, yeah, but it just kind of feels like actually maybe earlier in the season there was a bit more games that could have gone to Ethan, as well as later in the season when everything was all said and done. Yeah, we lost to PSG. You could have just played Ethan in the 10. Like, and obviously that's a fan talking, but like it still felt like Ethan got 0 minutes in some games where there was nothing on the line.
Even in that period when Odegaard was injured, like we would see each other every week and we would scream for Ethan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hear that.
Yeah. So I feel like it's not all down to Ethan, and still, man, what Ethan has shown us this season has
special.
Yeah, has proven to be better than your top talent, or whoever you think is your guy. Whoever you think is your guy coming to the academy that we should be watching out for. You can't. Yeah. You can't hold a candle. You can't hold a candle.
9 for Ethan. This is gonna be an interesting one. Gabriel Jesus.
Does it not have to be a 6?
No, I was gonna go with like a 9.
Yeah.
An 8 or a 9. Remember, 6 is what we expected. Yeah, what did we say about Gabriel Jesus when he got injured? That he gave us more than what we thought he was going to give us. I've been saying since January to you, and I'll say it here on the pod, we did not lose this title. We did not lose this Carabao Cup, this FA Cup,
whatever it was.
Gabriel Jesus did not do what he should have done.
Yeah.
Right? The brace that he got at Selhurst, the hat-trick in the Cup, the goal at Brentford. I expected Gabriel Jesus, and I will caveat this because I expected Gabriel Jesus to get 4. I said if he gets 4 Premier League goals, job done. Well played. He got 3, in the space of like 2 weeks, and then he picked up an ACL injury, but he also got a hat-trick in a Carabao Cup quarter-final that sent us through. For me, I was going to give Gabriel Jesus an 8 or a 9.
I can give him an 8 because I agree. Like we had serious long haul discussions about what do we really think we're going to get out of Jesus this year, and like 90% of fans would have told you between you would have been in the 10% of fans that said he was going to score a goal this year. 90% of fans.
Remember when was it Nick that said, I think we've seen Gabriel Jesus score his last Arsenal goal?
Everyone thought he was going to go in Jan and all this kind of stuff. So he has outperformed or overperformed his expectations from that aspect. And as well, look, I love the Jesus goals. Those are great days.
They are great goals.
Those
two at Selhurst. Those are great days. And we talk about Selhurst Park.
I'm happy to give Jesus an 8. I just don't know what to expect from him next season.
Yeah, I mean, off the back of a second ACL and both knees, and he's back in February.
He's in Palmeiras currently.
I said from January, I'm not getting on to Jesus one bit, because he's given me more than what I expected from him. And if that's the way we're doing these ratings and these scales, then I have to give him at least an 8.
Yeah.
So Gabriel Jesus gets an 8. I'm sure guys will disagree with that, but because it just depends on your expectations. If you expected Gabriel Jesus to score 8 to 10 goals,
he was.
Firstly, I don't know.
Surely going to be let down. They listened to the Fire in the Belly chat. That's what there was.
But then obviously you won't give him a rating that highly. Leandro Trossard. It's an interesting one, Trossard, because it's a bit similar to Martinelli in the sense of, I think last year Trossard got double figure goals.
Yeah, he did.
And I think this year he ended with 8. He had some big goals in there. The Tottenham one, thank you, Kinski.
I like the one at Everton.
Yeah, the Everton one's nice.
I think it's tough with Trossard because it's a Martinelli thing. It's very similar. On some level, I expect big goals from Trossard. It's not been Trossard's best year. I think of like some of the stupidness that Trossard was on, the Man City red card, and and there was that stretch before the Tottenham goal. There was that stretch where it was
just like 15 games of that goal or something. Yeah,
long before Trossard's given us anything. But then I don't know, the Trossard goals, when they do come, they tend to be big and they tend to feel good.
I would say 5 or 6.
Pause. Yeah. I'm kind of happy to give Trossard the 6 because I think, I think whatever he got, the 8 and 5 that he got,
was probably somewhat expected.
It was somewhat,
Yeah, agreed. Raheem Sterling is the last player.
It's another 0.
0, yeah.
It's another 0.
But he played something.
Which makes his 0 worse than Tomiyasu's 0. And I had one
of Arsenal's worst ever signings.
Yeah, literally. And I had very little expectations for Sterling. We were saying all he needs to do is hold minutes for Saka when Saka's bench. Not even bench, but like
rest.
Whatever it is, and he couldn't even do that. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even at the level to.
And even when he played on his favorite position on the left.
Yeah,
0 Premier League goals.
I think he's got to go to I don't even know if he can go to a new Premier League club, but like, I think that type of move is the confidence building move for Sterling. Or he has to go sit at the bench at Fulham or something like that. Like, when Sterling came on the pitch, it really felt like we was asking a lot of him to play football.
Yeah,
I felt like we was asking a lot of bro. That Leicester game, I don't think I've ever seen a worse performance than that game in an Arsenal shirt.
Who was that guy's name? That right back there was making his debut. They just locked him up completely.
It's just offside, bro. He's got like 10 offsides in the first half. Yeah.
Look, I agree. I'm not going to argue with that. 0 for Raheem Sterling. And then lastly, just because we're here, we'll do Mikel Arteta. Again, same scale, 6 being what we expected. Taking injuries into account, maybe refereeing decisions. But we're doing it as a whole, so that includes the cup competitions, not just the league.
I think this is the toughest one. I don't think there's a good answer, because going into the season, I expected to
win the league,
like win a trophy, be at the top of it all. Yeah, we got to a Champions League semi-league final, which is maybe above expectation. We had bare injuries and bullshit decisions, red cards and stuff, which I think is another good point for Arteta, the way he was able to navigate that. But then I don't have any excuses for the cups.
Injuries can't be an excuse for that.
I don't know how we go out to a Wimpo, Man United at home, who's down to 10 men, and the Carabao Cup.
I think it has to be less than a 6, right?
Yeah, the Carabao Cup is like, Newcastle are a good team, but again,
we haven't scored.
And I wanted Newcastle at the time.
Yeah,
I thought that we were a better team than them comprehensively.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a 5.
Yeah,
because there are some good things, as I say, the injuries and the navigation and the Lewis Skelly and
Real Madrid game
and all this stuff. But ultimately, kind of like the Saliba thing, like we had high expectations for Arteta and high expectations of what was going to happen this season. And we've fallen short on a lot of those like metrics and categories, whichever way you want to slice it. Even just like the total points tally. If you expected us to have a better season than we did last year, and we got 89 points, now we only have like 70 whatever. We're off it by
12 points.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think a 5 is just. When you take into account the injuries, I was going to say 4, but when you take into account the injuries and everything else that went on, and like you said, the Real Madrid game, I think a 5 is fair. Okay, MVPs and rookies of the week. Firstly, we've called the award MVP. So Shea and Pascal Siakam
come to the front,
who are the actual MVPs of their conferences, respectively.
Spicy P.
They will be up against each other in the finals. Those two are going to get my first MVPs.
As they should. TJ McConnell, your work doesn't go unnoticed on this podcast. Best point guard in the Indiana Pacers team. I've been saying this. He makes the team go. I hear all of this stuff about some other names, but I know what TJ McConnell does. I also want to give Alex Caruso. I'm highlighting the unsung MVPs. They don't get enough credit. Headband Caruso.
Like the guy who gets the most rebounds, most assists.
There's too much going on there.
I've got PSG.
Yeah. PSG deserve a massive, massive, massive shout out, man. Enrique, but like that 2-time treble winning stuff with 2 different teams is crazy. When I was watching the game, obviously we were talking about that point, and guys were like, "No other manager has done that. Who's done that? What kind of manager is those levels?" And I was like, hasn't Pep done that?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, he doesn't count." All this kind. But seriously, bro, when two trebles for two different teams, two different countries, two different leagues, it kind of like, I don't think there's a bigger endorsement on your philosophy of football.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
when you can do stuff like that. The team itself, I think, bro, Paris to get their first one, Dembele, Doué, all of these guys are all MVPs. Covered Scalia,
yep.
Vitinha, you know, can go through the whole Pacho. Go big up Pacho. Boy, it was kind of surreal to watch, man.
Yeah.
It just was kind of surreal to watch how that all happened for them.
And Inzaghi's on his way to Al Hilal.
That's shocking. He's cashed out. His head is on Mars, bro. They could have.
I hear it though, innit? Two. You just lost 5-0 Champions League finals. You've lost 2 in 3 years. The Inter project's kind of probably done now.
It's not been a failure. That
go
project.
make it. No. Not
Yeah,
at all,
yeah.
but go and make your money in it.
I just think that Saudi's an intermediary thing now. Like, I think Inzaghi cancels that contract in a year to take over.
Yeah. Well, he's Italian, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's not gonna last.
Like, if the Italy job becomes available after the World Cup or
Juve,
yeah.
AC. For rookies, we touched on it there. I've got Inter, but I've also got Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, fair.
Unfortunately, Mbappe.
No, he does. Hey, he has to make it.
Nobody wanted this. Yeah. And now you're getting clowned. And you're a World Cup winner.
Deservedly so,
yeah,
man.
You retire tomorrow. You'll have all the accolades. You'll have achieved everything in the game. But you left PSG. You ran from the grind because you wanted to win the Champions League.
Narrative.
So you went to Real Madrid, who always win the Champions League, missed the Champions League, and PSG have won it.
Oh, MVP, Conte, Napoli, massive. McTominay have to get that into, as you say, deserve a double MVP. Sorry, a double Rookie of the Week for losing the Champions League as well as losing.
Just to get away from the Mbappe slander.
Mbappe deserves his licks. Well, I don't know how much of it is his fault, but just because
I'm not saying it's his fault, but it's just how it is.
It's just how it is. It is just how it is. The only way Mbappe can get his lick back now is to follow up with 2 trebles.
Yeah.
To forget about the
World Cup.
Yeah. To forget about the trouble that PSG have just won.
Yeah, McTominay gets his MVP.
Yeah,
Lukaku can get an MVP.
He can. I'm trying to think of any other rookies.
Liverpool fans.
Oh,
the entire Liverpool fan base. Yeah, that thought that they could boo Trent before Daddy Klopp came out.
Made boss calls.
Patterned you all. Boss calls. Put you all in your place. Told you all to shut up. Yeah,
and then everybody said,
and then Trent comes up and he's everyone's cheering. Yeah,
and everybody was saying, "I never booed him.
Yeah.
I was always one supporting him. I always had some
fans that were there. Now you can get a rookie."
Yeah, that's trash. I hate the gaslighting from Liverpool fans to convince us that they were in the right.
You can't tell us how we should feel. But Jurgen Klopp just did.
Jamie doesn't want to speak about it anymore.
Jurgen Klopp's allowed to tell you.
The topic is over.
Yeah. It's done now. He's left. Jurgen Klopp can tell you how you want to feel. Calm. Any else?
Nah. As soon as I leave, there'll be a million. There'll be a million rookies.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you guys for listening. That's our last episode, most likely for a couple of weeks now. Like we said, hopefully some transfer business gets done. Thank you again for all the support.
Definitely.
Leave a comment on this episode what you thought. If you think that,
give us suggestions for next year as well.
Yeah. Stuff you want to see either before the season or during the season. And hopefully Arsenal give us some more happiness next year on the pod and some more opportunities to smile.
We need that.
But look,
it can't just be pain on here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening and following us all season, and we'll see you next year. Peace.